Welcome back to the Eric Krown Crypto Channel. Wishing you a happy healthy start to this nice rainy. It's rainy here. Rainy Saturday morning in Dubai. It's raining men, says Elsa. Indeed it is. It's raining men. Hallelujah. Anyways, where was I before I was so rudely interrupted? Yes, that's right. We were talking about the magic net money. Now, I wanted to follow up on some higher term time frame ideas that we've been looking at on Bitcoin. And the statistics that kind of align with them that are going to be relevant probably coming into the end of this month of January, maybe even into February as well. It's required the patience of a saint as things do set up, but this is typically where markets do put in major highs and major lows on these extremely boring times. And in this case, you can definitely say that we have an extremely boring range right now. I mean, people are getting excited. I'm getting excited. It's not just people, it's me. I'm getting excited over, like these $50 moves now. That's what we've been relegated to. It's so insane to witness, actually, because I was back testing data from even when Bitcoin was trading, above 30,000 bucks, let alone 40,000 bucks. And basically, on like a 5-minute range, you could see like a multi-$100 move, and it was nothing. It was nothing out of the ordinary. So these times are definitely, I'd say lackluster. Anyways, other than that, I should let you know that there's no sale going on because there will never be a sale ever again. No, of course not. We'll definitely have one in the future. So please do not FOMO. It's all good. It's all good. All right, sweet. So I wanted to start off this analysis from a bit of a different angle. Actually, you know what? I'll save that for tomorrow. We'll save that one for tomorrow. Got to keep something fresh over there. Let's go right into the data, starting off with the 2-day time frame chart on spot price action. And this is the volatility versus stochastic momentum signature. Now, I have not been following up on the CME signature simply because there's just nothing new or actionable to be aware of over there, and there's barely even anything over here as well, although there is a couple of new things which just slowly building up these brick by bricks into this hopefully nicely esteemed house. Anyways, what essentially is the setup? Extremely low levels on volatility, which is represented by this indicator right here, the BBWP indicator over the past 4 to 5 years. Well, we have back tested that. We found that when extreme levels are hit or lived below, which by the way is anything below this 10 percentile number right there, the expansion phase that naturally follows from those extreme lows has led to an average move of nearly 35% over the course of close to 3 weeks, let's say. And the stochastic also has been correcting in the direction of that volatility expansion about 84.5% of the time. I also did take a first standard deviation measurement of this, gives us a range of interest between about 25.5% all the way up to 44%. I do want to say one thing though, in this case, the moves that we have seen from this to the upside have definitely been on the lower end of that first standard deviation as far as my observations go. And for the downside moves, it's definitely been on the higher end. Other than that, I should also let you know that as of right now, and the new piece of information is that the 2-day time frame has actually officially crossed the upside for the first time since November, the November rally, which by the way, Bitcoin went all the way from 16,000 bucks to 18,500 bucks. As of last night, and it will be remaining with upside momentum as long as Bitcoin on not on CME but on spot price action is closing above 16,530. Keep that number in mind. It's kind of going to be a good sort of medium term pivot going on here. And so as long as Bitcoin's above there, I do look at this as very likely a major low is in. Doesn't mean that Bitcoin can't come back down and retest around current lows, completely fine, but very likely Bitcoin trades the upside of this range before the downside. That's one thing that I hope that I've been as consistent as possible for the past, month and a half now, basically since we kind of got into this range. Anyways, what also is interesting about this is that the 2-day time frame stochastic oscillator does have this nice trend line coming in from the last few major lows. The September lows, the 4th of September, the November lows, and then potentially the current lows going on right here. And so that was this low here, the first one in September was this low here at about 18,500 bucks before Bitcoin traded up close to 21.5 to 22,000 bucks. And then the more recent one in November was obviously that 16 to 18,500 dollar move as well. Anyways, as of right now, I would say that probabilistically speaking, Bitcoin, again, a lot more likely to try to the upside outside of the overall range between about, upper 15s versus low 18s before anything else. So this sort of a setup is still not technically actionable, at least in the way that I look at things. Of course, there's different ways to play this depending upon, your your disposition or your aggressiveness. Everyone's got personal preferences within that regard. Obviously, there's Elsa in the background. You're welcome. And yes, what would make it actionable for me is I want to see volatility expand, and in this case, I really want to see it get above the critical levels right here, back above that 10 percentile number. That's when things become, a lot more interesting as far as validating the setup, at least in the way they look at things. Can you front run these sort of things? I mean, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do, of course, because, well, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but just understand that, that's going to naturally come with a little bit more inherent risk at the behest of, well, more reward as well. So playing around with numbers here, especially on the lower end of the first standard deviation, 25% off current lows would put Bitcoin, again, well back into the $20,000 territory, somewhere between about $20,500, maybe as much as $21,500. So again, I am still thinking that that's a lot more likely to see throughout the rest of this first quarter of 2023. Before anything else. Again, this is not a macro bottom call. I'm not calling any macro bottoms right now. Still haven't necessarily seen exactly what I'm going to be seeing on a macro bottom. But then again, I'm going to be late to that party anyway, so that's fair enough. I do think that it is a major low, however. Anyways, now that we've gone through that, let me reference my notes over here on my new phone, which I'm actually very, very happy about. Finally get to get rid of my damn fucking iPhone. I absolutely hate it. No, I don't hate it, but I don't like it. Just this one's so much better. Damn it, where did my notes go? There they are not. That's it, because it's on Gmail. All right, sweet. So yes, we've gone through that. Let's now go head over into our regular charts over here and tip off on the 5-day time frame on CME, and we're still working on, or not we are people, and this is a chart, an inanimate object obviously, but Bitcoin on CME is still working on some 5-day phantom regular bullish divergence over here, and also simultaneously potentially going to get back above and outside of the bearish control zone for the first time in a while as well. In this case, the 5-day time frame doesn't close until basically Monday. So assuming that Bitcoin remains here or higher by that time, that will confirm. And that plus the 5-day jewel having liftoff right here as well, which is something that we were looking at coming into this past week, well, that would be a pretty damn good setup again for another try to the upside. Ultimately, there is also, yes, yes, that's right, the weekly as well. So the weekly for both spot and CME is kind of one and the same here, but it is setting up on the weekly jewel, which has been a historically very, very powerful signature, especially on spot. I think it looks rather good over here. You don't really get too many of these really good setups, historically speaking, but when you do, they have been some major lows in the past. So I do look at that for added confluence as to the likelihood of trading to the upside rather than the downside on the higher term time frames first. Anyways, moving on into the next thing. Now that we do have the weekly closure for CME, we should be aware that the weekly stochastic oscillator is also going to be showing upside momentum because Bitcoin closed above 16,420. Great number right there. Just kidding, because I'm in Dubai, but yes, 16,400. Spot price action obviously closes tomorrow night, and that pivot is currently at 16,629. So a few things to be interested right there as well, heading into the next week. Other than that, where do I want to take this analysis? What are you looking at?
No sex before marriage.
That's exactly right. Put back on the veil, baby. Anyways, let's see. I actually really do like this veil thing. I want Elsa to just walk around like that all the time. It's beautiful. Anyways, stop laughing. It's not funny. Anyways, hourly over here for the HPDR indicators represented the lower term timeframes. We can see now that the 50% range highs and range lows coming in between 17,200 and 16,750. So it's kind of the areas to be aware of for the short term range, if you will. I am kind of leaning towards a bit of sideways here and probably another test the upside. Similar to what we were looking at before over the past few days. Test towards 17,000 bucks in the short term, very, very likely. We've gotten that a couple times now, and now the ranges obviously shift as price action evolves from here. All right, cool. So we've gone through that. I think that was pretty much it. What I want to end on is lower term time frame stochastic momentum. Just see where the pivots are for right now. We can start off with the daily. The daily is showing upside momentum as long as Bitcoin's above 16,650. 12-hour time frame is going to be crisscross down. If Bitcoin closed below 16,929, Bitcoin's currently like half a buck above that level right now. So it's like kind of meaningless. 6 hour time frame is going to be showing upside as long as Bitcoin's above 16,865. 4 hour time frame is going to be showing upside as long as Bitcoin's above 16,800. Sorry, and hourly time frame is going to be showing downside pressure as long as Bitcoin's below 17. So what does it all mean? What does it all mean? Well, what it all means is that because we do see a lot of contradiction between all of these oscillators, all these moving parts, probably more sideways for the weekend. Oh, what do you fucking know? Sideways on the weekend, crazy, absolutely crazy, right? Yes, indeed. So ultimately, that's kind of what I'm looking at for right now. I think the biggest piece of information was this baby over here. So we'll get the next 2-day closure tomorrow night, alongside the weekly. And if Bitcoin's above 16,500, I would say the probabilities of an upside move get increased just a little bit more. All right, sweet. That's going to do it for me on this particular day. I want to be wishing you the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.